Hello everybody, Abed's brother here. And this video is just going to be about the undervolt I managed to achieve on my RX Vega 64. This took me a couple of days to get this right. This is an MSI Airboost OC Vega 64, so it's basically a reference card. And Vega proved to be quite the challenge. I've never really encountered a GPU like it when it comes to undervolting. There is no rebar because this is on my i7-4790 and I'm not bothering with a hacked BIOS to enable resizable bars, so that is not available. But here's what I've got, and I just used Adrenalin for this. I think this is 24.9. Oh yeah, there is a new one available. 5.8 just dropped. Most of my work has been on 24.9.1, and I'm not trying to play Oblivion Remastered or anything with that like that. I do have Robocop Rogue City that I can try out in this video though. But here's what I've got. So basically, my first step was realizing that well, my target frequency was going to be the reference, because this is a blower card and I'm not going to bother overclocking it and generating even more heat. So reference is 1546 megahertz, I think. So I set that for P6. And then I wanted roughly 50 megahertz. There's like a 50 megahertz offset. So whatever you set P7, state 7 here, you're almost never going to see that with Vega. What you're going to really see is P6, state 6 here, and the frequency will bounce back and forth between the two of them. So I set state 6 to the frequency that I wanted, and then I set state 7 here to about 50 megahertz higher. I think, it's 52 megahertz higher. And I forget whether I lowered state 5, but I know the rest of these are the same as reference. And I left memory timing as it was. Memory frequency, I know Vega is memory bottlenecked. Basically, if you can overclock the HBM, the high bandwidth memory, you're going to get a lot more performance than if you overclock the core. That said, I'm not interested in degrading or burning out the HBM, so I'm targeting the standard frequency of 945 megahertz on the memory. Again, this is a reference card, reference style blower card, so I'm most interested in keeping temperatures down while at least getting reference specs. So I reduced state 3 to 890 millivolts here. And I was pretty pleased with that. Just totally reduced that from, I think it was 1.1. Now, from what I've read online, this is just setting the floor for the HBM. It doesn't actually run at this speed, but it will basically run at this as much as it can and clock up as it needs, increase the voltage as it needs to. Vega's a very, very confusing card. It's easily the most confusing I've ever encountered. So I reduced the voltage here. I reduced the frequency here because this was clocked to like 1650, 1660 on state 7. But then this is where the big action happened, was the voltage here. This was clocked at 1.2 volts. It was 1200 in here on state 7. And it was just a lot of me starting a game, seeing what was stable, and then keep turning it down. So what I did here was state 6 and state 7 have 10 millivolt difference. Then here 5 and 6 is a 15 millivolt difference. Then 25 millivolt. Then it's 25 all the way down to here. And I just tried to make it a very gradual curve on the voltage. And again, I got this. This was stable in all my testing, so I was fine there. The next thing I was concerned about, and I boosted the power limit to the max, of course, even though running reduced frequency like this, I found that increasing the power limit more than 25% didn't really affect anything. Once I increased it to 25%, I was getting the frequency I wanted, and it's not going to clock higher because I imposed a limit. So I pushed it to 50% just because, but not because it actually does anything that I noticed. And that was stable, but I was still getting a little too hot. The HBM was running about 85 degrees, which I understand is HBM2's max operating temperature. So that was still a little hot. The GPU core was running about 70 with a hot spot of, 70, 72, and a hot spot of about 87. So the core I wasn't worried about, really, because GPUs have operated at those temperatures for a very long time. That's actually a very good hotspot temp, in my opinion, for a blower card. It's just kind of crazy. So I did increase the fan speeds. I think this was at 50% on the P5 here, and so I increased the fan speed to 60% on P5, and so I did increase fan speeds a little bit, and I can definitely hear it when they ramp up, but it's not crazy loud. It is loud in that I can hear it through my headphones, and it's sitting in a spot on the floor next to my desk here. And I can hear it through noise-canceling headphones. Not much, it's just a little hum through the headphones. If I take the headphones off, it's got quite a noise, but for me, it's tolerable. And as you can see here, we're sitting idle at the desktop, and we're idling about 30 degrees. So what I'm going to do, yeah, we're running PCIe 3.0 I bought this card used for like 80 bucks just to get a Vega. I was just looking around, and I wanted a Sapphire Nitro or a Power Color Red Devil, but those were a lot of money to get a working one. There are a lot of Vegas out there that are broken, busted, or otherwise abused in Bitcoin mining. The owner assured me this card hadn't been Bitcoin mined, so I was like, all right, I'll take that. And you can see here our temperatures are running nice and cool. Now in the display settings, this is at 1440p. So to me, Vega 64 is a 1440p card, and that's what we're going to be running everything at today. So I'm going to start with Wonderlands here, and the reason I'm starting with Wonderlands and not Borderlands 3 is that Borderlands, I have limited hard drive space for benchmarking. Borderlands 3 is like 150 gigabytes, and Wonderlands is like 48 gigabytes. So even though Borderlands 3 is probably the game I would be testing, Wonderlands takes up less space and is equally demanding. But Wonderlands is the game that I did all the testing on for the undervolting and getting the clocks right and the fan speed right, and that's because it's Unreal 4. And Unreal 4, for some reason, really stresses Vega 64. It properly loads it up. Whereas, for instance, I also have Assassin's Creed Mirage installed on here, and Mirage pushes the GPU utilization to 99% like it should, but it only draws like 200 watts, which, so it's not, what's the term? Is it occupancy? It's not fully occupying the render pipeline or whatever they call it. Oh, that's right. I put a 60 FPS cap on this game to try to because this is where I play most of the time anyway. So let's go to options. I'm going to take it off for this video. So this is DirectX 12. I found that runs better. 1440p. And we are running medium overall. Again, I don't know if that is because of the CPU or the GPU, but there was definitely more stutter. Okay, let's turn that off. There was definitely more stutter if I set the settings any higher. So let's turn that on. It is installed on a solid-state drive. Not a great solid-state drive, but it is installed on one. All right, and because Unreal 4 has texture stream-in issues, we have to wait a moment here for everything to properly load. Now I did get, oh, there we go, that was fairly fast. Now I did get some CPU bottlenecking in Brighthoof in the town, but out here, there's no issue in getting everything, getting the GPU properly stressed. So 1546 was my target clock speed, and the fan is really ramped up now. I can hear it, but it's not too bad. We're staying at 945 megahertz on the memory clock. And we're right around my target clock that I wanted, core clock. So let's get some combat. There should be combat through here. Here we go. Oh, and we have audio delay. Whatever. I can't seem to get OBS configured right, so the audio does not delay. Whatever. So with these settings, and the fan is at 60%, obviously I could turn the fan up even more, but it would be so obnoxiously loud. I really don't want to if I don't have to. See, HBM is hovering about 79 to 80, which is about 5 degrees. Gives me about a 5-degree window before it reaches thermal max and may start throttling. I've seen it a little hotter and it hasn't throttled, so I don't know if that's just people online saying don't run it at hotter temps because it'll degrade, or if there's something else going on. This is a repaste, by the way. I did repaste this. This is a repaste with PTM 7950. And that was a harrowing experience repasting that. Okay, let's head to the beach. So this is about how it runs. If I can go into Brighthoof, but like I said, it's going to CPU bottleneck if I do that. I mean, I can do it. So 82. Again, I can turn up the fan speed a little bit. Core temp hotspot. My 5700 XT used to get to 92 hotspots. So the core temp I am absolutely not worried about. This is 100% acceptable in my eyes as far as that's concerned. It's the HBM temp that I'm primarily watching, which is at 82 right now. The only thing that bugs me, I mean, I'm trying to provide voiceover here, but the only thing that really bugs me is that everything is out of sync. That really annoys me. Yeah, let's head to Brighthoof. I'll run around there a little bit, but you're going to see the same thing. So this is about fully stressed. 250, just about 250 watts draw. And the core temp seems to be holding steady. HBM temp is hovering around high 70s, mostly low 80s. Mostly low 80s. I feel like this is pretty good because it's mostly holding the core clock. At default settings, it was quieter for sure, but it was also downclocking to like 1390 to 1425 megahertz, so it wasn't even hitting advertised speed. Do I recommend getting a blower card? No, I don't, but this was the most cost-effective way. You know, this was basically a benchmarking curiosity purchase, like, oh, I always wanted a Vega. And the cheapest way to do that was to get a blower card. So we are not bottlenecked here, but there's a lot of stuff to show on screen. Oh yeah, and Unreal 4, stream in your textures, please. Thank you. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some bottlenecking through here.
Can't wait to barbecue some
yeah, the CPU is definitely holding it back now. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's pretty good. Basically, that's how Wonderlands runs. I'd expect Borderlands 3 at medium settings to run the same way. And then the best way to run this is, I generally game at 60 FPS, so I'm going to put the lock back on. And then it's fine. And the temps are going to be a lot lower. And you got a great 1440p 60 FPS medium settings GPU here. Now, okay. Let's get out of Wonderlands. So that to me is the extreme setting because Unreal 4 is really hard on Radeon GPUs for some reason. So let's do Robocop. We'll replay that little opening section. And this is Unreal 5. You know, everybody's going on about Unreal 5, and Unreal 5 is becoming the engine of the current generation. So let's see how it goes. So we are at 1440p. 1440p FSR balanced. Thing is, FSR does better at higher resolutions. So 1080p with FSR, not going to give super good results. 1440p with FSR, not bad. 4K with FSR is not bad either. So this is FSR balanced, and this should take us right into the opening, because I think the last thing I recorded with this was my RX 480 video. Yeah. So here we are, and how loaded up are we? See, we're drawing 200 watts, maybe. It's like the render queue is full, but not all the stream processors are being utilized. So as a result, it's not drawing the power. You know, this should easily be drawing 250 watts, and it's not CPU bottlenecked. I'm pretty sure. Might be a little bit, but it's not much. Let's see what we got. Oh! I really like this game. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's also like one of the only Unreal 5 games that I have that's not huge in size. And, well, we're pushing it pretty hard, but we can't hold 60 FPS, as you can see. And I'm recording this with a capture card, not with a software on the PC. So there is no frame drop due to recording. Can't quite hit 1440p 60 with FSR balanced. My aim is horrible. I'm also having to deal with some latency here because I'm playing this on my desktop through the OBS screen. Oh, we finished. Oh, not bad. I wouldn't win any marksman awards, but... Well, with FreeSync, I think this would be doable. If you have a FreeSync monitor, 60 Hz, you're aiming for 60 FPS. We're generally very close to 60. And this is pretty general use here, where you can see it's 72 core, 82 hotspot, and the HBM is high 70s, low 80s. I'm not looking to cook anything here. This seems like this is about as good as it's going to get in Unreal 5. I'd imagine newer games that use Unreal 5 are going to be quite similar to this. I mean, I'd say Indiana Jones, except Indiana Jones requires a ray tracing component, and Vega doesn't have that. Now, if you're running Linux, which I am not right now, there is a command, and I've seen a video of somebody doing this. You can use... There's a command you can use... Vulkan. You can use a Proton. There's a command in Proton. You can use Proton emulate RT. Using emulate RT, I was able to get Black Myth Wukong to launch, for instance, on an R9 280X. So, and I have seen video of people running Indiana Jones on Vega using Proton. So it is possible to run games like Indiana Jones that maybe have a little bit of ray tracing, but not a ton. It's totally possible. But on Windows, I do not know of a workaround to get that thing working. Maybe somebody else has one. That's news to me. What I would much rather have had a good third-party AIB cooler on it. For a blower card, this is about the best I could ask for from it. If I had actually paid what was $600 for it, which I think is what it retailed for back in the day, $500, $600, I don't think I would have been happy with it. If I'm paying that much money for a GPU, I expect it to work out of the box without me needing to do anything. Like, the fiddling with it should be a bonus, an extra, whether I'm getting lower temperatures by undervolting or additional frequency by overclocking, but I shouldn't have to do anything out of the box. That's just my opinion. And so if I had spent MSRP for this, I probably would be a little bit frustrated with it. But I knew what it was going into it, and I have no complaints with it at all. I feel like it's still a pretty powerful GPU. The Robocop results were a little disappointing. I would have liked to see a solid 60 FPS, which obviously we could get if we went to performance FSR instead of balanced, but Unreal 5 is going to be the death of so many video cards, really. Old cards like Vega 64, GTX 1080, which it competed against, that have been hanging around for so long are finally going to, I think, be put to GPU's retirement home because they're just not going to have the power moving forward to really play tomorrow's games. Anyway, hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.